offensive line. How do you build your chemistry with your new players?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just got to be earned as far as their trust with me and vice versa. But you also there's got to be a little bit of leap of faith from them to do that. The good news is there's a lot of guys in there who have played, and they do have some chemistry, and they do have those bonds and relationships. And the biggest chemistry piece is going to be me joining them, more so than them intertwined with one another. So it's going to be fun. Unfortunately, as a college coach, you have to do this every few years. So we have some experience of that. But it'll be a fun spring to get out and change things up and see what those guys can do.
Working with Rhett in Miami, what are some things you saw from him that you think will make him a good head coach?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is a good human being. Like I said, who has his priorities, who has the right values as far as how to treat people and how to do things the right way. And let's face it, football's about football, and any sport is about scoring points, scoring runs, scoring, and he's done that. And I think you also get a feel for when you're recruiting, feel for roster, just something in a microcosm, the way he changed the quarterback room at Miami from the room that was probably the weakness of the team to when we leave, it's the strength of the team. So there's little signs all along the way to saying, oh wow, this guy could be really good at what he does, or even further as a head coach.
In regards to run game coordination, obviously with run blocking and stuff like that, I guess how much of that is contingent on the actual players you have, or is it do you adjust to them, or is it more of you got to adjust to or they got to adjust to the scheme? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think it's the good news is a lot of the players that are here were in the system 2 years ago, so they were kind of recruited for that system. So you don't have to change a lot from that standpoint. I do think as a coach, there's a fine line from being stubborn and saying we're going to make this work to maybe we can't do this. So I think you always got to balance that and juggle that line. I know there's some things that you just look throughout Rhett's career, how the run game has changed with what he's done, and he's adapted and evolved, and we adapted and evolved at Miami to some things that our guys maybe weren't the most suited to do. That can put those guys in line for success. So, I think it makes it a little bit easier transition for us for the fact that Coach Lashley was here 2 years ago.
Are you a coach who cross-trains players at multiple positions, or do you see a clear distinction between tackles and the interior guys?
Yeah, I mean, some guys are fortunate enough to where they can do all five, and I know some of the guys that were here last year were guys that you saw that do that. The Howertons and stuff like that, guys who played a little bit of everywhere. But in a perfect world, you want to put your best five guys on the field. Now, you take a guy like Marcus Bryant, he's never going to play center. But at the same time, you want to try and align it to where if your backup right tackle is the 10th best guy, and your backup left guard is the 6th best guy, and your right tackle gets hurt, you need to find a way to get that backup left guard in the game, and maybe you bump the starting right guard out and slide him in. And so you want to always try and do that. You don't want to make the group weaker. So it's important, and then fundamentally, it's important that there's a lot of carryover to what you do to each position.
Garin, Sam Conde, curious, ideally from a depth standpoint, how many scholarship linemen would you like to carry every year?
Whatever Coach Lashley wants to carry every year. It's my job to execute whatever is put in front of me. Again, the part of being an assistant coach is assist the head coach. So if he wants to throw the ball 90% of the time, then I want to throw the ball 90% of the time. If he wants 10 guys on scholarship, then I want 10 guys on scholarship. So of course you'll have your opinions and things like that, but this is not my time to share my opinions. This is my time to be loyal to Coach Lashley.
Coach, Billy Embody with On3. What do you look for when evaluating offensive linemen from the high school ranks, and how does that change when you dive into that transfer portal world?
Yeah, I think the unique thing about offensive line is good offensive linemen come in so many different shapes and sizes. You always see the story of this is the 6-foot lineman, and how come no one recruited him? He's a dog. And then you have, for every one of him, there's also 30 of him that don't work out. And then you also have the guys who are giants who are terrible. You've got to find guys who can run their feet, guys who have a desire to be a good player. And a lot of what we do, you recruit, yeah, it's got to be good film, it's got to be good traits, but you also have to project as far as, do they have big hands, do they have big heads, are they going to get bigger, do they have the frame to carry the weight, will they be able to stay healthy, those type things. The no-brainers are easy. We could all see those guys. We can all say, oh yeah, he's a player, but so does every other college in the country want to recruit that guy. So, but it's similar to probably what most of the line coaches are going to say. Good length, good size, guys that can run, physicality at the point of attack, nice finish, guys that don't stay on the ground a long time. Those typical answers. But usually it's when you see it, you see it, and that's the important part now. I think we have, now that we're able to go back on the road, is now you get to see those guys practice. You get to see a spring game, or you get to see all those things, and you get to, usually in recruiting, you're doing everything you can to, you have this pull, you're just trying to find things to whittle that pull down. So, and that's the thing with offensive line, is there's so many different shapes and sizes that go into what a good lineman can be. But I know you don't want to show up and have a full line of 6 footers, but it doesn't mean that guys that are 6 foot and 6'1" can't be great football players. And there's a reason that in boxing they have weight classes. So it's definitely is a big man's game. So, but you got to be able to run and move your feet and play.